Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel. Now, before I introduce my guest today, you might be asking yourself, why am I wearing sunglasses? Well, let me just say that my guest at this time is not only a voice acting veteran, no, scratch that, legend, but he is also the voice of many names like in your favorite cartoons of all times. He was the voice of Leonardo and Rocksteady in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he was also in part of one of my favorite games of all times. He played Master Miller in Metal Gear Solid, and he was also the main antagonist, Liquid Snake. My guest My guest at this time is Mr. Cam Clarke. Cam, how are you today, sir?
Is Cam Clarke here? I've always wanted to meet him.
Oh, he's a great legendary man. And how are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. Yeah.
Awesome. And this is like the third, like this is my third Ninja Turtle original alumni interview, and I've interviewed Renee Jacobs, I've interviewed Townsend Goldman. Now I get to interview the one and only Cam Clarke.
2 more to go.
Yep. Barry and Mr. Rob Paulson.
Yep.
And I do want to ask this before I get into Ninja Turtle questions and video game questions, because you were in a lot of video games. Incredible. Like I've done my research there. And I played half of those games. My first question is, and this is gonna be a typical cliche question, but how did you get into voice acting?
Just about everybody's heard the answer to this question. So if you haven't, you must be a hermit living in a cave. I got into it quite accidentally. I'd been a child performer and was still trying to be an on-camera actor as I got older, and there was just nobody was interested. And I met this woman and her husband, this couple, on a job. And they said, "You got a really nice sound going on there. Have you ever thought of doing this for a living?" Because we were doing this voiceover job together, which I had not yet made a big focus for myself. And I said, "Well, thanks. I'm kind of just, I'm still going to be a movie star," which never happened. But they said, "Well, yeah. In the meantime, why don't you look into this voiceover thing?" And I went, okay, I'm not doing anything else. Why not? And never looked back.
Very cool. And I do want to ask, what was the first role you got in voice acting?
I think it's all a little foggy now. I think it wasn't Robotech, but it was a couple of other foreign dubbing jobs that were one was Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds, and Around the World with Willie Fogg. Both of these were produced by a company here in LA that took foreign property and dubbed it into English. So those were my first 2 jobs, and from there I got Robotech.
Oh, okay. Now, take me to your audition for the 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because you play not only one role as a major character, you play another role in Leonardo and Rocksteady. It's like, take me to that audition day, sir.
I can't remember it. It was just nobody knew what it was. It was just a day like any other, auditioning for things, as I did every day. That was part of my job, to audition. So I can't tell you. I just know I got a call back for it, and that was cool. And I went, but none of us knew that this was going to be a big deal. It was just one audition like all the others we go on, and we hope we're going to get.
I see. And memories of doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like memories of working with Rob, Barry, and Townsend, and Renee Jacobs.
It was great. We all hit it off immediately. And to this day, we are quite connected. And, you know, just like family, I wish we were working together more often. With the going to conventions, of course, we've been able to reconnect with each other and spend more time together. Um, and Townie and I were already friends before the show started. So that was just kind of an extra bonus to get to work with him.
Oh, very cool. And memories of working with the late great James Avery.
You know, he's this big, huge mountain of a man, but he was like a little kitten. He was the sweetest, gentlest giant you could ever hope to meet. Wonderfully, wonderfully giving and sharing, and you know, everything you would want with an acting partner.
Very cool. And the origins of like when you had auditioned to do Leonardo and Rocksteady, like what were the origins of like the voices that you do for those respective characters?
I mean, how did I come up with whatever
Mhm.
sound?
Yeah, like what made you decide to do those like the way you sounded them out?
Well, we all auditioned for all four parts, and I guess just the word teenagers, of course, was our, you know, the main thing. So you wanted to sound youthful. Of course, I was only like 26 or something when we did it, so it's not like I was that far away from it all. And Leonardo was the leader, so I tried to use some kind of heroic kind of sound. And auditioning for Michelangelo, coming from a surf town myself in real life, the surfer thing was, you know, second nature to me because those are the kids I grew up with.
Okay, and did you have a favorite like episode, whether it was a Leonardo theme episode or just a favorite episode in general of Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I get asked that one a lot, and it's an easy one for me. Excuse me if I sneeze or wiping my eyes. These forest fires that we've got out here in the West are, you
I'm
know, a lot
sorry.
of coughing and sneezing going on here. It's pretty scary.
Sorry about that.
Um, yeah, me too. Um, what was the question?
Did you have a favorite, like, or at least top three or
Oh,
favorite
yeah, yeah,
episode?
yeah. Um, there was, I don't know if it was a couple of episodes, maybe it was just one, where Leonardo is like, you know what, y'all, I'm done being the leader. You guys never pay me attention, so you guys be in charge. I'm just gonna sit back and eat pizza, and you guys take the reins. And that was a lot of fun for me to get to not be the leader position.
Hmm. Interesting. Like, and I'll tell you this, like, one of my favorite episodes is actually, and you'll be proud of this one, sir. The first episode I ever watched of Ninja Turtles, like, growing up in the '90s. Well, I mean, because I rented it from Blockbuster. I mean, I got my Blockbuster cert still state. Uh,
Yeah,
and I also like to show my respect and to pay tribute to you. I also had this shirt prepared.
good preparation.
um, Now, one of my favorite episodes, like of Ninja Turtles, besides the episode where Michelangelo and Shredder split personalities, they switched. I mean, not switched, but Shredder thought he was Michelangelo, and he did that thing. He craved pizza no more. My first ever Ninja Turtles episode I've ever watched, and I have it right here on VHS. Leonardo lightens up.
Ah, that's the one I was just talking about.
It was great. And that's why you and I we both love this episode. And you came up with a term that I absolutely love in this episode: fuddy duddy.
I wish I could take credit for that, but that's an old slang. Fuddy duddy.
That Leonardo lightens up, like you said, he stops being like the leader and he's like becomes more mellow. I like this episode, like especially when you delivered lines like when you pulled the prank on him with the turkey and like, look at you guys, you're all a bunch of turkey covered turkeys.
Speaking of Blockbuster, did you know there's one store left?
Yep, an organ.
A-
Right?
and they are renting it out. You can spend the night there.
That's incredible.
Have you heard this? They have a bed and they have an old like VCR, I mean VHS player,
Hmm.
and you can book the place to spend the night, and you have all their VHS tapes and everything, and a big screen TV, and it's like being in a, I imagine it's like being in a time capsule, and I think that would be really fun.
Those take me back. I mean, I'd love to go to that Blockbuster. I mean, growing up, my parents used to take me to Blockbuster all the time, and I used to rent so many Ninja Turtle tapes. From this one I have right here. This tape also has one of my other favorite episodes, which was Leonardo versus Tempestra. That's the one where
I don't remember.
he becomes addicted to this video game, and she comes to life.
Wow.
This is the back
Who
of it,
played
though.
Tempestra?
Um, I was told it was Tress McNeil, but I don't know if it was Tress McNeil or
I was gonna guess that.
I was told Tress McNeil, but then there was another name, the person that voiced Irma, the woman that voiced.
Oh, Jennifer?
Mhm,
Jennifer Darling?
mhm.
Huh. I don't remember.
Yeah, but see, this was the tape. I mean, I think Family Home Entertainment put it out.
Yeah.
But oh, but big fan. Like, and I have to ask you too because I noticed in one episode, Funny They Shrunk Michelangelo. There was a character named Talbot Breach, and he sounds a lot like Liquid Snake. Was this, do you think, was the precursor for Liquid Snake using the voice?
Did I do it?
Yes, you played
Did
the
I
guy.
play it?
He shrunk Michelangelo and boats into a little bottle, and he had that annoying cat that would always knock him down.
You know what? There are so many roles and so many jobs, and there's only so many voices inside this throat, um, that it's just one of the voices that I would pull and, employ for something kind of devious or dark. So I can't really say that it had anything to do with Liquid Snake or vice versa.
I see. And where did the voice for Rocksteady, where'd you come up with that one, the voice?
Well, they told it, Barry and me, that they were both just big kids, big dumb kids, even though they were like what? They were like hoodlums as
Yes.
humans, right?
Mhm.
Well, we took it a step further and made them like big babies. And so the template for me was to just use a sound that kind of sounds like, something that would come out of a rhino. Um, and then add like kind of baby talk, like, some silly 4-year-old.
Interested. And I do like we mentioned Liquid Snake earlier. I do want to ask because Metal Gear Solid would always be one of my favorite games. I mean, I would watch my father play it growing up, and then I eventually played Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation 1. You have so many great lines as Liquid Snake in this game, like and as Master Miller. Like Cam, you could read the phone book and make it entertaining. That's how great you are with delivery. Like I'm looking at, Liquid Snake and how you deliver. It doesn't come off like you're reading a script. It comes real natural.
And
And
how sad it is we don't have phone books to read anymore.
I know, right? But I do want to ask before I get into my Metal Gear questions. I noticed in the game you were credited as James Flinder James.
Flinders,
Yes. What? Why was that?
just messing around with stage names and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Now, did you have when doing like your memories of doing recording for the Metal Gear Solid game? What were your memories of doing that game with David
Oh,
Hayter and Paul Iden?
just a lot of fun. I mean, I'm just the luckiest guy in the world. It was just great fun. And you got to remember, I'm doing, working multiple times a week and going from one fun, playing one fun sandbox and next day playing in another fun jungle gym. And uh, it's not until after time goes by that you can look back and see, oh, this was iconic, or this became something that uh, people hold on to as a big deal in their formative years. So um, it's not like we had a crystal ball to go, ooh, this is a day to remember because this is going to be all that. That's not a thing. So you go in, you have fun, and then you go home and you let it go. And it's not till, especially with games and animation, you don't get any kind of immediate response because it has to be drawn and it has to be, all that produced and everything. And it can be a year, And then you don't know how it's received until it's been out a while.
Hmm.
And even more so when decades have gone by and it turns out that it has this shelf life, pardon the blockbuster pun. And sorry for my thing. Let me turn my computer on to turn it. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yep.
If I do that? Okay. It's not till decades go by that in hindsight, you guys, the fans, have as a group determined what is a classic, what is an icon. So I can't really speak to those things at the time of recording. It was just, are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun? Do you like the people you're working with? And it's very simple and very clean, and that's all I can speak to. It's great to have been a part of something, looking back, that people hold with such esteem, but going in, there are no such thoughts.
Oh, okay. And I absolutely love, like, whenever you perform Liquid Snake, I absolutely love it. I was actually watching on YouTube the other day, you and David Hayter reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" as Snake and Liquid. I thought that was the funniest read I've ever seen.
My idea.
What a great idea
But
that was.
I called David though, because he was much more involved in the games, so he knew more about how to lampoon the original Night Before Christmas. I don't know that much about the game's content to be able to make a joke about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I said, and David's a writer, a very prolific, successful writer. So I said, Mr. David, take this poem and turn it into Metal Gear. And he did it in like 20 minutes. I mean, I literally said, "Do you want to take a stab at this?" And he went, sure. And it was like, I barely set my phone down before boink. He goes, "How's this?"
Oh, and but I liked in that video too. You actually did the way you did Master Miller was very different when you did Liquid. Like you gave an American accent and you said, "See what I did there?" Oh, incredible, incredible. Like you were reading as Liquid, like you were talking in the British accent, and then you start talking in the American accent.
Yeah, schizophrenia. It's comes in handy.
God bless you, sir. But I did want to ask, did you have like favorite or at least top 3 favorite lines that Liquid has said? Or your delivery as Liquid Snake?
Only because you guys have told me what they are. I mean, as an actor, the whole role was a lot of fun. But the lines that you guys present, it's like, well, okay. How do you like my sunglasses is the one that everybody just tickles them when I, say that, or it's not over yet.
Oh, I remember
It's decided by you guys because it was a great role, and I really can't pick out a single line. It's just what you guys say, this is your favorite, so that becomes my favorite line.
Very cool. And much like the late great Phil Hartman, you could take a villain and you can make them both evil and comedic. Like I love. I mean, you nailed every line you did as Liquid in the first in all the Metal Gears. If I had to give you some of my favorite deliveries that you did, mine would be when you said to Snake in the game, you said, "Why don't you ask the father you killed? I'll send you to hell to meet him."
I'll have to remember that one.
Love that line. And also, of course, the one line you say like 30 times or even more in the game, "Les enfants terribles."
Ah, les enfants terribles.
Yep, and that one, I love that one. I mean, to this day, my favorite scene of all time in Metal Gear will always be the shocking reveal. Sunglasses off, ponytail off, and then it's Liquid.
Ta-da! Just
Yep.
like you did earlier.
Yep. I wanted to pay homage to you. I thought I was going to pay tribute to you to the highest degree. And that also, like, I did like your line, like, when you said, what was the name of the gentleman that voiced Ocelot? Was it Patrick Zimmerman?
Yes.
Okay, I like when Snake dies during the interrogation, you go, Ocelot, you did it again. When he killed Snake, I love that line. Like, um, and we talk about video games too, and I can finally ask this question though too because in 1994 or five, there was a game that you were a part of. I mean, as much as I love Metal Gear, I love and I have it to this day. This game, you played in Rise of the Dragon, William Blade Hunter.
I did.
Yep. And I remember this game, it was like one of the best Sega CD games I've ever played.
Huh.
Like
Well, you got a better memory than I do.
well, my father, I would watch my father play the game, and then I would play the game too. Like Rise of the Dragon, like you play William Blade Hunter. And I remember like some of the lines you deliver in the
And
game.
what is his character?
He's a private detective,
Ah,
and
okay.
he has to save his girlfriend, voiced by Tress McNeil, named Karen Summers, and he has to fight the evil warlord magician named Bahamut.
I'll take your word for it.
I just
Long time ago.
I love the game though. I mean, as much as I love Metal Gear, I loved Rise of the Dragon because I love the Sega CD. Um, and we talked about video games too. You also were part of another. I mean, you've been part of many franchises. EverQuest. You were in Skylander. You did Spyro. Um, you did, I believe, Call of Duty. One series that I'm always a huge fan of that you were in will always be Fallout New Vegas when you were Dr. Mobius. And in this game, I think it was a DLC content, which is like an extra bonus game, but you played a robot scientist who removes the brain of the character you play, known as the Courier, and yeah, and you perform, I think, the Liquid Snake-esque type voice for this character.
Wow, like I say, you got a better memory than I do.
I mean, I remember because I'm a huge fan of your work. Like, I mean, dating back to the '90s, like, you know, I was a Ninja Turtle fan in '97. I became a fan of like your work in video games in '94 with Rise of the Dragon. I think it's amazing you went from playing the ultimate protagonist of Leonardo to one of the most hated, vile, diabolical villains of all time, Liquid Snake.
Playing a villain is a lot more fun than playing a hero.
See, that was my next question I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, which would you prefer to play, the protagonist or the antagonist? Because personally, like you said, I think being the villain is much more fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were part of also one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies of all time, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, where you played Detective.
Professor Neville.
Yes, Bo.
Bo
Uh,
Neville.
Memories
I
of.
did have a lot of fun with him. And
He,
it's funny how much he resonated with a lot of the young ladies out there. Everybody had a crush on Detective Bo Neville. Go figure.
I got to actually, memories of doing that movie, though, because Zombie Island is considered one of the best Scooby-Doo movies of all time.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
uh it was, I mean, I definitely loved your work in that. I have to ask, you know, memories of, you know, with doing the sequels, and I forgot to ask this question too, memories of doing the sequel to Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty.
Uh it's been a great roller coaster ride. I don't have particular memories about it. Maybe, you know, when you're an on-camera actor and you're in a movie and you're on set for weeks and weeks at a time, there's a whole environmental thing that, you know, you can use for recall. But with a voiceover thing, I may have had 2 afternoons total working on a job because I do all my lines by myself sometimes. So I have great memories, but I can't pinpoint like a certain day on the set because there were only a couple of them. And just I love the people at the studio and I love the director and the other actors, but I can't really pinpoint something, you know, like that. There are some jobs that I do have really great memories of the process of it as an actor. One would be and I can never remember my number. In shoot, I'm gonna screw it up. I played shoot Patient 17 or uh, time travel caught assassins. Help me out here.
Uh,
Um,
let's see. Is it a video game or is he
video
cartoon?
game, video
Assa-
game.
is it Assassin's Creed?
Yes, I didn't have a name. I had a number.
Hmm.
Does that ring a bell?
Trying to remember. Hmm. Assassin's Creed. Oh, now I remember because I remember playing that with the Xbox.
Or subject?
You were I think you were patient subject 16.
Subject 16. That
Yeah.
was probably one of the most fun I ever had on a. I shouldn't say fun, but as an actor, it required a lot from me to create this world where this guy doesn't know if he's dead or alive. He doesn't know if it's the year 1710 or 1910 or 2510. And they had, because I used an Italian accent on that, and not really my strong suit, but they had a coach to make sure everything I said had a really nice Italian accent. I would say another job that I had a lot of fun with that most people don't even know I did, because do you know what scratch vocals are?
Tell me.
It's when you lay down tracks. For example, in an animated feature where they kept tons of time to, create this movie, they will hire actors to do what they call scratch tracks, rather than pay their stars to come in over and over again, which is a lot of money. They hire an audition will go out for we need a sound alike for so and so. There was a movie many years ago called feature called The Road to El Dorado.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I've seen. I watched it when I was younger. I think DreamWorks put it out.
Well, the audition went out for a sound alike for the. I can't recall.
Okay.
But they needed a sound alike for Kenneth Branagh, who is one of my all-time favorite British actors. And I got the part, and I spent a year and a half with the producers and the animators with these other actors who were chosen to be Rosie Perez and Kevin Kline. And we would spend days together going over storyboards and coming up with ideas and different ways to say this line. And we'd say it and they go, that's not working. Let's do this other thing. So being part of the process of making it ready for the stars that are going to be in it. And that was wonderful. And then I had the opportunity, and this is kind of a fanboy geek thing for me, when it came time to record the real actors, Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh, they asked me to come in and they said, I don't know if you want to do this, but you interested in coming in and reading for them, feeding them their lines, their cues, like I'd say the other character and then they do their line. And I went, are you kidding me? And those guys for my generation were huge. And to get to be in the same room with them and perform with them, even in this fashion, was the best.
Very cool.
That and playing Snoopy were my favorite things ever.
That's incredible. I think it's cool that you got to play like one of the most legendary cartoon characters of all time, though. Like in our history, everyone's gonna know who Snoopy is.
Around the world.
Yeah. And it's like Cam, it's like you've done it all, though. You played one of the biggest protagonists growing up for all little kids. Then you played the biggest antagonist, and then you played one of the most iconic characters in cartoon history.
I've been pretty fortunate.
I think
we did, with all the conventions being canceled, I did have a couple of online autograph parties, and we set up one for David Hayter and me for Metal Gear, and we signed autographs one Saturday and Sunday, something like that, for a couple hours a day. And it was on an Instagram thing, so we've got everybody's questions, scrolling on our phones, and there were people from every corner of the planet writing in, asking questions, because we could all be together. We could all be together, whether it's in France or Israel or Japan, the Philippines, you name it. People were joining in from everywhere, and that was pretty wonderful.
Such an inspiring, beautiful, you know, real life thing that you've done though. And I do want to ask, like, because I do have like a couple of questions before, like, we conclude the interview. First of all, I gotta ask you, and I never got your opinion on this. I mean, I asked Townsend about this on when I did the interview with him, but in 2009, they did a movie called Turtles Forever, which had the 2003 Ninja Turtles meet the 80s Ninja Turtles, meet the Mirage Turtles, or Prime, quote unquote, Prime Turtles. I wanted to get your thoughts on that movie, Turtles Forever.
Uh, it was just great to be back with my boys again. Um, that's to get to be in the studio again together was, I'd have done it for free. Don't tell the producers that. But yeah, I don't really have a vote on the movie itself. I love the concept, and getting to be with my boys again was great.
What did you think about the meta references they did, though? Because we all know Rob Paulson did Raphael, the original Raphael, but then he voiced the new Donatello. So, like, it's like these two
Right.
are talking to each other. Like, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on, like, jokes like that?
that's great. Lampooning and making fun of it that's what makes it so fun and memorable.
Oh, okay. And I wanted to ask you this too. Like in, I think season 7 of the original Ninja Turtles, they went to a total change in the premise of the show. Like the characters became from funny, fun-loving to like Red Sky episodes. They're called Red Sky episodes, I believe. And they took
Really?
on a yep, and they took on a more dark, serious tone. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the change in direction of like from the fun-loving happy-go-lucky like Ninja Turtles that we all know and love to the serious tone, kind of scary tone.
It's always fun to mix it up. And I don't find anything all that sacred to not be open to, doing whatever they want to throw at us. So it was great.
Ah, very cool. And I wanted to ask you this too. Like, well, whatever happened to Pete Renaday?
Pete is still around. He is still around.
Because I loved him as Master Splinter and Vernon.
Likewise, I knew Pete quite a while before, maybe not quite a while, but before the show, we did a play together. So then having him show up at the cast and knowing that we'd done some little theater together, that was a lot of fun.
Very, very cool. And did you have like a favorite, like if you had to name all like your favorite guest spots you've done on voice over, what would you say your favorite guest spot is? Not as the main character, but as a guest
Guest
spot.
spot. Boy, I've never been asked that one before. You'd
I,
have to, well, you'd have to give me a list because I have no idea all the things
um,
I've done. But
oh, should I
getting
name
to
some?
be Fantastic Four, uh, playing what's the guy with the gray hair in Fantastic Four?
What was his name? Drawing blanks. I knew this one. I'm drawing blanks.
Yeah, it was fun being because that's an iconic character, and I think I even played Spider-Man in something and Thor in something. So I love playing things where the character's already known by people and getting to give, my own spin on something.
Weren't you also Flounder in Little Mermaid?
I was indeed.
Very cool.
That was awesome.
And you,
And getting to voice Simba was also such a treat.
what about doing Pepper Ann?
Ah, nobody brings up Pepper Ann.
I
I
love Pepper Ann.
replaced I replaced one of the 90210 boys.
Luke, not Luke, Luke Perry?
Well, Luke Perry or
Uh,
who's the?
who's the other one? Luke Perry, and then I only know Luke Perry, Shannon Dorothy, and Tori Spelling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe it was. Maybe it was Luke. Um, I loved that because it was a totally different kind of show than I'm often called upon to do. It's a gentle, it's more along the lines of Clifford, Big Red Dog. It was just a sweet, sweet show, and that was, it's fun to get away from villains and superheroes and saving the day and just, being a day in the life of a school kid is
Well,
is fun.
you were also in Tailspin as Darren Dan Dawson,
I'll take your word for it.
and you were in the show. I mean, you were in a show with your fellow Ninja Turtle alumni, Townsend Coleman, The Tick.
Loved the Tick. Tick was awesome. Yeah, you're bringing stuff up that the Tick was awesome because it was making fun of superheroes. So having spent so much time being a superhero, to come up with a character that's cheesy and pretty much doesn't want to be a superhero, wants to have all the fame and the glory, but doesn't want to get get his hands dirty. That was fun.
Very cool. Now, Cam, before we can conclude the interview, this is an open forum, so you can talk about or say anything you want. The floor is now yours, sir.
I don't want the floor. um, you tell him. No, you're the interviewer. You can't just throw me under the bus like
No, no, no,
that.
no, no. I don't want to do that. Absolutely not. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you have anything you want to talk about, it's, open mic.
Oh boy, you got me on the spot.
Because I don't know if that's a bad thing.
I hope everybody is doing okay during COVID lockdown. I know everybody's in a different situation depending on what part of the country you live in. Here in LA, we're still pretty heavily locked down. We got some eating in restaurants outdoors, and barber shops are starting to open up, but no movies, you know no gymnasium, no stuff like that. So so I've been watching a lot of TV and a lot of movies that I never would have watched if I hadn't been, locked down like this. So I saw some shows that I really liked that I may not have watched otherwise. So there. I'll
Oh,
give you a list of the shows I liked. The Watchmen. Do you know that one?
yes, I do.
Dead to Me, which I never would have watched. What else? I'm watching The Last Kingdom right now, and that's pretty cool.
I gotta check that one out.
It's like the Vikings and taking over England back in the year 800 or whatever it is. Zombie movie. The first thing I did during lockdown was watch all the apocalypse movies, watching World War Z and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead and all of that. And it's like kind of scary how much it's like real, it's just so much parallel between all of that stuff. It's like spooky.
Yikes!
And we're coming upon my favorite time of year, Halloween. But
Mine's-
nobody can go trick-or-treating in LA. We're not allowed.
They just passed it too. I think they said there's a ban on trick or treating here in New York.
Where are you?
New York, Brooklyn.
And no, you're not supposed to go trick-or-treating?
Yeah, the
With
governor.
the kids there?
Yeah, the governor's planning on passing a bill to ban trick or treating.
Yeah, us too.
Yikes!
But I'm still going to decorate.
Yeah, show the holiday spirit. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch my Halloween specials that day, whether it's Simpson Halloween special, Ninja Turtle Halloween specials, like anything.
Or the Great Pumpkin.
Charlie Brown.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thanks for having me on your show.
I do have one request, sir, before we conclude, and that is because Townsend did it and Renee Jacobs did it, and that is could we get like a turtle power and cowabunga like together, you and I?
Sure.
Yes. Okay.
You're gonna count off.
Yep.
What do we say?
You want to, let's do turtle power first, then cowabunga.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Turtle
Turtle power!
1, 2, 3. This will be cowabunga. 1, 2, 3. Cowabunga! Thank you so much for joining me. It was an honor. Like, this is the 7-year-old me saying that. I was totally honored. Like, it's like I idolized you growing up. It was
And it's past your bedtime, young man.
Yep. I guess I have to go. That's my cue to go.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night, my friend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.